You don't
I'm
need to do that.
here. We're the world's greatest dads. We're
You
the
are like that
world's great.
Peter Pan of dads at the playground trying to play with every other people's the best. As soon as you said Peter Pan, I was like, I get it.
Yeah, it's funny. When did that come into the lexicon? The Peter Pan being like an insult, an epithet for like man boys, man children.
I
He's a
mean,
Peter Pan.
is the boy yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it's an easy sell if you ask me. Do you remember the Robin Williams Peter Pan movie? And the premise was, what if Peter Pan grew up?
Yes. Are you kidding
And
me? Do I remember? Do you know? For the longest time, I was told that I looked like two people, two celebrities. Do you know?
Lou Diamond Phillips.
No, but you're close. Rufio from Hook. Okay.
Yeah. Shit. Yeah, I see that. Yeah, dude.
See it?
Yeah, yeah.
And the other one, I don't know. I'm gonna give you this. See, you don't even know these movies because you're a different generation. But this is my JGL. Ready? I learned French for you. That's my Joseph Gordon-Levitt. And do you know? People still think it. From time to time, they know I'm not him, but they're like, you kind of look like that guy. And we've had in our comments people going, "Hey, shut up, Timu Joseph Gordon-Levitt." They call me a Timu Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
What's Timu mean?
Timu, like a low, like it's like one of those brands from China, I think, that's like very
Uh,
poorly made
they're
knockoffs
off-brand.
that you can get. Yeah,
I thought it was like racist.
I mean maybe.
I don't know.
Well,
Like, oh, he's
actually, I don't know. Did I tell you this? Do you know who people think you look like in our comments?
John Lovitz.
No.
I've gotten Lovitz.
Okay. Yeah, I could see Lovitz a little. I,
Yeah.
I I never thought. Yeah, I mean, you're not. Maybe when you were heavier.
Yeah. Oh, it was a good sell. Oh, back like in peak Twitter plus Cheap Eats, a guy did a split screen of me. And it
Okay.
was, oh yeah. And he goes, yeah, yeah, no. I mean, and prior to that, like I've gotten the Lovitz before, like a lot. I've gotten the
Yeah.
Lovitz.
Yeah.
There's a lot there. There's a lot to it.
Yeah.
It's like your Joseph Gordon-Levitt is also style, demeanor. I think there's some things behind the face. Sometimes it's like you're the doppelganger and it's purely a physical thing. I think it's more
Right. 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 Right.
performance
Right.
thoughts.
Yeah. The facial gesticulations. I
You
mean, he's
didn't
an
say who else
ethically.
I look like, or who was who
Yeah.
else?
Joe Gatto from the Impractical Jokers.
Yeah,
Have you
yeah,
ever
yeah. I've
gotten?
been getting Gatto lately. I mean, like it's the hair, the gray, getting a little thin too.
Yeah. 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 I
Yeah,
see
I've
it.
been getting Gatto. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'll take it. And what's funny? I think I showed that to Brearley, and she's like, "Not bad." I was like, "I know they're still on TV, baby."
Yeah. Except he's not part of them anymore.
He got kicked.
I don't know. I think he left on his own. I don't have the whole story, but I do know that he posted a few days ago that he's rejoining, but he posted it on April 1st. Huh? Yeah. He's not rejoining the Impractical Jokers. Yeah, sorry. Sorry. They're Hey, what are there like there must be like groups like that. I mean, I guess like the Spice Girls, they were the four of them right after Jerry left, Jerry Halliwell. She became super famous. And then Posh, now Victoria Beckham, she got married to David Beckham. So then she's like, I'm out. I'm not doing any Spice Girl stuff. But then Jerry came back because her career didn't work out the way she wanted. So it was just like the four of them. But that happens, right? Where like I guess in sync, Justin Timberlake kind of left. He did his own thing, and then the four of them, and then he was going to get them back together. Now he kind of needs to, he kind of needs the rehabilitation.
I mean, hopefully he saved some of that money. I mean, that guy did everything. Like
The
very
trolls,
talented. You
he's got
know.
the trolls money. He's okay.
It's weird that you bring that up. You bring up was he in Trolls or did he just sing that song?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's like one of the trolls. I've never seen it actually. It's not one of our family movies.
Yeah, I mean, Heath was young enough where that was kind of in the rotation. But what's so weird is that Justin Timberlake's song from Trolls was out and popular. And it's honestly, whenever I hear it, I think about basically when my dad died because I was going back and forth to the hospital, and these were like kind of like, I guess to me for Austin longish drives, and I would just hear this song, and it was completely tied to like him like basically slipping away from life, like from, he's in the ICU and euthanasia. It's really weird. And like I would listen to that song and I would gravitate towards it because it was so positive, you know? So
Hmm.
it's weird. You say Trolls, and I was just like, yeah. Well, thank you, Justin
You know what
Timberlake.
song I really like that always brings me back to a certain time? In my adulthood. I mean, like I have lots of songs that bring me back to like childhood and adolescence, but the Pharrell song Happy. Do you remember when that was like everywhere?
Yes, remember
It
it
just
well.
reminds me of like my early days dating Shiro. I remember like
One of
went to
those.
LA together and it was just like this must have been 2014 or something, and like it was just like playing everywhere we went, and it just like was like kind of that sunshiny. I mean, I'd
Yeah.
almost think like probably people hate it and think it's like corny, but like it just makes me so happy. Like how could you not smile when you hear that song?
It's the beats are great. I mean, look, at some point you just have to be like, not everything, as we know, as people who are big cinephiles and people who love like storytelling and stuff like that. We gravitate towards stories that take us to the dark and gritty. But suddenly it's like, what? We can't have fluff. I can't have a little popcorn
I
and just.
love fluff. Are you kidding me? I'm a huge fluff guy. Love
But
rom-com.
I feel like there was a thing. Certainly, I felt like, and it's weird. I think about this with movies and like kind of like these kind of peaks, like the 2010s were peak for golden age of TV, or as we approach 2010 for sure. And I think about in the 90s, like independent cinema and these movies that were like so gritty and interesting, they could actually make money. Like they would actually get made. First they get made. And they get seen, and then they make money, and you could become a star from like some rando movie about a violin's journey from Austria to Harlem. I think that was a movie with Sam Jackson. I think it was called The Violin. I don't know. Doesn't matter. But
No,
that
no.
was then, this is now.
Yeah.
And we're just making TikToks out of this drivel, out of this pure drivel that is this episode of World's Greatest Dad,
Have
where
you?
we've
Yeah.
spoken about
Well, they're
nothing
called,
except my
there's
dead.
a word for it now. Did you know about what a yap video is?
Us, I
Yeah.
assume.
It's literally people I now see like instructionals on like, hey, here's how to do your yap video. And a yap video is just like talking. People are like, all right, if you want to master a yap,
Please.
you gotta do. You want to look in the camera. You want to kind of be relatable and be fun and just be like, oh, here's what's happened to me today. Well, I was walking down the street and this guy almost got hit by a bus, and I pulled him back. And I was like, hey, man, what are you doing? And then he punched me in the face. And I was like, what are you doing? And he's like, hey,
Yeah.
that's revenge for that time that you stole my lunch money. And oh my God, it was the kid that I bullied when I was a kid. But here, I saved his life. Anyways, then I went and had the most amazing slice of pizza in Soho. And then we went to the museum, and then yap videos. That's a yap video. And people are teaching people to
Yeah.
yap. Yap, 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 yap,
Yeah.
yap, 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 yap. Can you believe it?
Well, you know what's weird is we've always had the capacity for basically civilization to really be anything but. I think what's happened is now we have given everyone access to the TV studio, and everyone has a channel, and we all have a shot to just be like, hey, I'm live being that annoying guy at the party. Like, that's it. Like, it was always there. It's just
Yeah.
now we have access. I mean, look, remember Wayne's World? That was like, oh, this is like local access TV. That's what this is. In fact, local access has usurped like the golden age of Hollywood,
Yeah.
Like that's it. It's crazy. Like
You know who I'm fascinated by?
Mm.
The adults who have social media accounts, but they haven't been on there in years. Like their last post is like from 2019, you know? And you're like, but they're still there. And then like you'll either run into them or hear, oh yeah, they saw on your Instagram, and they're like, what are they doing? They're just kind of like secretly like a little
They're
treat.
lurkers.
They'll
They're
lurk, kind of treat themselves, just kind of check something out. But meanwhile, they're not sharing their life in 7 years, 10 years, and I'm fascinated by these people. You know, like
Here's the thing, Neil. It's a very easy way to describe them. They have real jobs.
There you
That's
go.
it. That's the difference.
Crack the code.
They have real jobs. I'm a doctor. Oh, you know what's very exciting? In just God, I can't do the math. I don't feel like doing math. But on the 26th is my 18-year wedding anniversary. And Brierly's like, have you heard of this comedian? Do you want to see the comedian Nimish Patel? I was like, I love Nimish Patel. So we are going to go. I know, right? Very excited.
Well, I
Very, very.
remember watching him because I'm so cool. I remember watching him at Bar Matchless, which is a bar that no longer exists in my neighborhood, where he used to do free shows with Michael Che. You would just show up and get
No
your
way.
beer. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But like, no, I feel like Nimish Patel is still pretty. I mean, I know who he is, and I think he's definitely like. But I mean, I don't think he has a Netflix special. Like, he's not there yet.
Yeah, I mean, he's
It's
not
close.
Louis. You know, he's not like pulling out his genitalia in front of his female opening act and just saying, "Hey, do you mind if I?" And then he looks him in the eyes, and they're like, I mean," and he's like, "That sounds like a yes," and then he just goes nuts, and then he does it again and again and again, and then word kind of gets around, like, like what Louis does, right? And it's like, yeah, but like, I don't know, it's kind of a rumor, and then everybody kind of knows, and they call it like an open secret, and the entire industry is like, yeah, that's kind of like weird what he does to like women that he brings on the road, right? Or like other comedians who are like way below him, and everybody kind of knows, but they're like, whatever, like, he's a genius. And have you seen Louis? Oh my God. And then like, you kind of like forget about it for a while, and then like the Trump is elected president, this guy who said that you can just grab women by the pussy because like they like it, and who cares,
Yeah,
you can do
that's
anything. And
right.
then like there was this like
Forgot about that one.
reckoning where like men like kind of maybe had to be like a little bit responsible for like actions they'd done in the past. And then Louis issued a statement that was like, yeah, these stories are true, and these women really admired me, and like I was just like, I didn't get it. And so I thought like, oh, they want to see me kind of like pleasure myself, even though like it seems like maybe they don't, but they do. And then he's like, I'm gonna really work on myself, and then he didn't, and now he just is back and has a Netflix special again, and everybody's like, yeah.
I never watched his stand up really. And I remember the show and I'd see bits of it, but I never committed to a full episode. And I mean, I felt like I'm sure the show was pretty good. And I'm sure like the guy is like pretty talented, but he was never like, he never, you know what? He was before Doom Scroll, but he would never be enough for me to stop the scroll. So the whole thing is like lost on me. So I'm like, when
You
you hear
know
all this
why?
stuff, I'm like, why do they even pay attention to this guy? Like, he sucks.
You're one of the good ones. You're one of the
Oh
good ones.
no, no. I'm just saying, like, I know it's not because I'm not wearing the white hat right now, Neil. Although there might be
What's the
something
white
different.
hat? You mean like the
It's the
covering
Western.
your face? I hope not.
Yeah, the Wild West. You know what I mean? I always want to be the good guy. The guy in the white hat in the Wild West movies. He had the white hat and the black hat, and that's actually there's some to unpack there. But I was just referencing something I was taught. Trauma is taught, as we know. It's hard
Yep.
to unlearn. But yeah, I just was like, I don't know if this is really all that funny. Meanwhile, I would watch Curb. I mean, that is probably the funniest show I've ever seen. I think I can say that. Yeah, I think it's the funniest show I've ever seen. And then the only thing is I kind of watched maybe religiously the first 3 seasons on DVD. I don't think I got through all 5, and then it brought back, and then I just, I don't know. I'd watch more, I guess. What do you like? Curb? Is Curb? I mean, what's Curb on
You
your
kidding?
rankings of the best comedy ever? I
Because
assume
of
you
course,
enjoy it.
of
Right?
course, of course, of course, of course. And we're not done talking about Louis C.K. because we have more things to say. Yes,
Louis on. He's front of the pod.
world's greatest dad, Louis
Tough one.
C.K. No one said ever. Said no one ever. That's how you say it, right? Said no one ever.
It'd be really weird is if he had a daughter and
My friend, my
he
friend.
does.
He's got 2, and he used them as like archetypal characters to show like in his series, like, I'm such a great single dad, and I'm cooking for them, and I'm picking them up. Meanwhile, beating off in front of my coworkers who I employ. Anyways, I saw him live 4 times. I was a big fan, and when this all broke, I remember my dad called me, and he was like, "Are
That's
you
why you're
okay?"
so obsessed. You got
Yes, I'm
wrong.
upset. I'm upsett,
Yeah,
Ollie. I'm
I
upset. I'm
see. I
upset. I'm
see.
upset. I'm
I
upset,
see.
even
Got it.
more upset than Woody Allen, because, you know, Woody Allen at least did us a solid and married his daughter, and everyone was like, this guy's a very bad
The
person.
whole
And
point
like,
of this episode was just for that clip. What he
I'm
did
just
is
saying,
solid.
Woody was like out with it, you know? Like, if you're defending Woody Allen, it's like the people who defend Michael Jackson. It's like, thank you for just making it so easy for me to know never to leave my kids around you. Just kind of keep my distance, be cordial. Hey, how you doing? But like you're like, oh, I don't think the people who are like, I don't think Woody did anything wrong. Are you kidding me? Have you read the files? It's like, have you've read the files of the testimony? You're that to try to like be like, yeah, well, Mia Farrow was just trying to discredit it. It's like, he married his stepdaughter or his wife's daughter. Like, it's over. It's over. Annie Hall's a great film. This guy is a
Great movie.
bad human being who
Yeah.
I don't believe needed to be redeemed. I don't think so.
Yeah.
And so the thing with Louis, and here's the thing, is, and this speaks to the larger piece of our culture that we're all reckoning with. Well, not all of us, which is some of us are reckoning with. But I remember when it happened, my dad knew I was a big fan, and he called me and he's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Am I okay?" I'm like,
Oh, what
"How
a
about
great
like
dad.
the victims?"
What a great
Like,
dad.
uh,
No, well,
and
your dad has enough on his plate, Neil.
yeah,
He's
and he's
got
like, "I
Neil to
heard
deal
about
with.
this guy who I know you really like, this comedian." And I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean."
that's awesome.
By that point, I was, enough of an adult to go like, "Oh, what a bummer! Like he really is a creep, like a bad guy." I remember, it all kind of started to trickle out, like what he'd really done, and I don't know if you know this, like he issued this statement that was one of the more unique Me Too movement statements from Predators, because he was like, I did this. It was wrong. He kind of took accountability, kind of not, but he was like, I'm going to do a lot of thinking and listening. And I remember thinking, like, all right, well, yeah, I mean, that's way different from like literally every other Predator that's like, nope, didn't happen, didn't happen, didn't happen. They're lying, they're lying, they're liars.
Mm,
He acknowledged that it was true or there was truth to it, or,
right.
and that he said he would grow. And then he did nothing. He was like, I lost a lot of money. I can't play Madison Square Garden anymore and sell it out. And then he like still is. It's just like he only does like three
Isn't
nights.
that a cop out? Hang on. So here's what I'm in, and I'm genuinely curious. Like, what is the measure of saying, okay, he has grown? Like, how do you get out of it? Like, you know what I mean? And I mean that like, what do you do? I mean, is it all just
Well,
like
here's the big tell for
song and
me
dance?
is all he does is talk about himself and what he lost. And also like big part of the story too is that he like actively tried to like silence these women and ruin their careers, and like basically had his manager like try to like blackball them. Like, it's not like he was like, oh no, I didn't know that I wasn't supposed to do that. It's like that Seinfeld where he's like, was that wrong? Should I not have slept with my secretary? Was that wrong? Should I not have done that? It's like, he knew, he's a monster. And so how do you come back from being a monster? Great question. Number one, stop
This is
talking
good.
about stop talking about the millions of dollars that you lost. No
Fair
one
enough.
cares.
That's a good
You're
one. Good
doing
point.
fine. I
Yeah.
saw people upset about his Netflix special, and Tank Sinatra was like, "Oh, why don't you just say you want him to die? He needs to provide for his family." And it's like, I'm pretty sure he doesn't need a Netflix special to provide for his family.
Yeah.
So, and also, no one said they want him to die. They just said, like, hey, this seems like a bummer. Like, there's a lot of more deserving people. But at the end of the day, what it shows is Netflix doesn't care. They don't care. They're not like moral. They're going to issue like a DEI initiative and, hey, we believe women. But also, like, yeah, Louis will grab us some eyeballs. Like, they don't care.
Yeah,
Amazon
they're in it
Prime.
for the money. I mean, you know what's interesting? I kind of love this. We can unpack. We're just going to get into this media stuff here. Yeah, we're dads, but we also think about other things.
Sure, sure, sure.
Really interesting this era of time where Me Too was huge and basically was like, oh, I look at it from a whole other perspective because I'll be blunt. I was not a victim of Me Too. I think I'm not going to say no male couldn't have been, but I feel like I don't know, it wasn't really something that I encountered, whatever. All the times where all of a sudden it was like, everyone's like, ooh, we're on eggshells. And then the other crazy thing too is like, the peak of that was like when I actually was, on TV, had something to kind of quote protect. I mean, not that I was trying to be an Alex Jones type person and be evil and do anything for attention, but I remember like being really mindful of like, oh, I hope I don't come off a certain way. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to, get canceled, literally, figuratively, all that stuff. Yeah. I mean, like, did you in the workplace, do you remember, did you find your behavior changing? Were you like, I mean, maybe that sounds weird because it sounds like you were, perhaps a perpetrator. But you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like there was a time where it was like,
Yeah.
whoa, everyone's on blast right now. You
Uh-huh.
don't you don't even want to give the perception of, like I hope you didn't take this the wrong way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, so no, and here's why. If you're the people that said, "Oh, yeah, we're walking on eggshells," why are you on eggshells? Is it perhaps because the stuff you did prior to 2016 was like kind of messed up? Like, I'm sorry, if you had a button under your door that opened and closed your door and you could trap people in there, and you were making tens of millions of dollars being a person on TV, interviewing presidential candidates and world leaders and titans of business and helping make news and bringing the news to millions of people, and you're fucking interns, like maybe you should be working on eggshells a little bit. Like maybe like that's wrong, Matt Lauer. Like I don't think
Hmm.
you're like a great guy.
Yeah.
And maybe you got Ann Curry fired and you're a hack.
Yeah. You know what's interesting is I guess the way I looked at it was for me making sure I was squeaky clean on social media. And there's more to unpack there. So there's really that element for me. And then it's kind of crazy, but it makes me think of the David Mamet play. I believe it's called Oleana, where it's about a college student, a female, and a college professor. And the play is about the student accusing the professor of rape, but it's left ambiguous. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like,
I
you
bet
know,
it is. David Mamet,
and
that old, that guy. Wow. I mean, what happened to him? Or was he just always this way?
yeah, well, I mean, I remember I had a professor who was like, "You can't not be a misogynist and write a play that is about did this rape even happen?"
I mean, he may as well have written like Lolita. It's like, I don't know, the 13-year-old was kind of coming on to me. I mean, like, get out of here, David Mamet.
God, yeah, 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 yeah. But again, like these are just certainly like things that, and I also think about this because I literally know that my opportunity in television came because people got canceled on Twitter. Yeah, they made
Say more.
some big
Say more.
errors on Twitter. Well, and this is all kind of like brought to me, kind of told to me, right? But you know, I remember when I got a call saying, "Hey, we really need you to submit some materials." A show just got canceled or shelved on Travel Channel, and it was built around some tweets that Adam Richman had posted, where he was actually, from what I understand, defending himself from he had lost a lot of weight and he had written a caption. Again, I'm recalling here, right? So someone can do their due diligence and be
If
like,
I was
"You're
going to
wrong."
say, if only there was a way we could get to the bottom of this. If only
No,
there
no,
was.
totally too. But it's a lot easier for me to talk and have someone cancel me. But
Not yet.
look, yeah, I'll get canceled. But anyways, he wrote, "I'm feeling thin," and then wrote hashtag Thintastic, and apparently that is a term that is part of a community that I guess is like pro bulimic or anorexic or maybe both or whatever. And people were, commenting back and it got out of hand. And he said something to the effect of start a bath. Oh, yeah, grab a razor and draw a bath. And Travel Channel was like, what? And
Yeah,
yeah,
can't do
the
that.
show
Can't
Secret
do that.
Eats did not get aired. It ended up airing on Cooking Channel because they'll take anybody. But anyways, so that happened, and then Eddie Wong, who did that show Wong's World on Vice, prior to that, he actually did a pilot on Cooking Channel called Cheap Bites, and the pilot had aired and it was really good. But he tweeted something that was, I guess, offensive or not kind or whatever, I don't know, about Guy Fieri. And Guy, like, literally, like, picked up the phone and goes, "Oh, who's this guy? I'm kind of, carrying this company a bit, with my work. And why is this guy making fun of me?" And that, I can tell you, I did sit in an office at Food Network and had someone tell me this story. And I'm like, oh, cool, here I am. So knowing all this stuff, I was like, what a... Man, I used to keep it so squeaky clean. Like, this was when Bitmojis, like, it was kind of avatars you would make off of Snapchat. I would post stuff like, "Hey, what's up? It's Happy Memorial Day, flag, Happy Passover, Merry Christmas." I was like squeaky clean, squeaky clean, squeaky clean, squeaky clean. And now here I am with you, ready to really get into it.
Real
Not gonna
dirtbag
get into
we
it.
are.
Yeah. But you're right. I didn't have the button. To your point, I did not have a button under. No. I'm at my desk right now. The only
Listen,
button here is this.
I'll tell
Yeah,
you, I remember there
that's
was
what I
one
have.
time, I hopefully this is the worst I ever was at work.
See?
Well, I'm going to tell you, this is years ago. I remember working with a colleague, female colleague, we were like tasked with helping decorate the office because we were underlings. And I remember she was very stressed out about it. And probably because she was doing more work than I, because I'm socialized to, just get stuff done for me. I don't know. And I remember I said, "Hey, relax," or something, or just chill or relax. And she got very angry at me. And I
Mm.
learned you can't tell, um, or you shouldn't tell. Not you can't. You can do whatever you want. It's a free country. But it's when a man in the workplace tells a woman to relax, it is seen as dismissive. And it was a big learning experience for me. I was in my 20s and I was like, "Hey, relax." I'm thinking, just everything's chill. Keep it chill. And she did not take that kindly. And I think ever since then, I tried to be better at listening, not interrupting.
And that's where I was thinking about all this is like, and let's be honest too, there's how we feel is our intention, but it's our perception that ultimately matters. You know what I mean? Like, you can sit there and say, "Well, I didn't mean to be offensive," but it's like, but that doesn't solve the core root of the problem. And look, there's always nuance. Nothing is black and white, except for when I wear the hat, indicating I'm a good or bad guy.
Mhm.
So there's that. But, that's, yeah, I remember, shoot, even in the 90s too, like having some of these discussions kind of going, am I being sexist right now? Like, and these were open conversations about it, like, I guess I've always been a little bit more. I mean, it's the thing. It's like, I don't want to be offensive, but you start to. There was an era in this time of the late 2010s where honestly, like I felt like I was walking on eggshells just because I didn't want to get freaking canceled. Literally, you know what I mean?
And then someone else would have said, "Hey, we've got a slot for you on Cooking Channel."
That's true. But I'm already on Cooking Channel.
No, no,
See, if
no.
I knew now,
Someone would have taken your slot, I'm saying.
that's true. Although it seems like they'd take anybody.
Yeah.
It seems
Let
like
me
they
ask
would.
let me take your temperature on this because I know you're very outside of the sphere of reality TV, but big scandal happening on Bravo right now. Has it bubbled up to you in the Summer House? No.
No,
Have you heard
no,
of Summer House?
no.
All right, Summer House is a show that's been on for like 10 years. The idea of a summer house, a share house, it's kind of like the Jersey Shore, oh, we all get a house for the summer and we all kind of like split the cost. So there's like a higher end version of that in the Hamptons.
Mm,
And they created this show like 10 years ago. It's called Summer House. And it's been
okay.
like a revolving cast of characters. And the whole idea is loosely like we kind of know each other. I'm friends with him and, she's friends with her and we all get a house together. And then they film a reality show. Hijinks ensue, hookups happen, friendships happen, rivalries happen. And there's some core cast members that have been there kind of since the start. One marriage, one almost marriage, but they broke it off. Lots of relationships and stuff. So something happened where this couple and Kyle and Amanda, Now, she's in the very first episode as his hookup. They end up getting together, getting more serious. She comes into the house. She becomes a main character herself. Here we are 10 years later. They're married, but he's off DJing. You know, he kind of hasn't slowed down with his drinking and his partying. Their marriage is really taking a toll. She started the liquor business with him together, Loverboy, which is like their kind of like hard seltzer thingy. And like things are coming apart. Anyways, she has another friend in the house, Sierra.
Mm-hmm.
Sierra.
Okay.
And Sierra was a model nurse. She was a nurse. It was her day job, ICU nurse, but also a model. You know, you got to pay the bills. You know, side hustle. And she had a thing with this guy West. West is like he's like you'd see him in my neighborhood. You know, like Greenpoint, Brooklyn. You'd see him in like Highland Park, LA. You'd see him in like what's the cool like maybe an Austin guy. He's got a big mustache. He's got like a little mullet. He wears these kind of like colorful like outfits. He's a real goofball, and he had a thing with Sierra, and brought her to a wedding, brought her to meet his folks. Then kind of like realized he was getting kind of big on social media from being on a TV show, and he was like, I can hook up with whoever I want, and he kind of ditched her. And then he did a New York Times article about how he wasn't really serious about her, and he took a lot of heat for it. Anyways, that was 2 years ago. A year ago? 2 years ago? Summer House is currently airing. All of this took place last summer.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle and Amanda have split. They've separated.
Mm-hmm.
But it came out in the last few days that West and Amanda have been secretly hooking up and maybe are in a relationship or situationship. People are going crazy, Ollie. What's your take? Can you hook up with, oh, and I should say Amanda and Sierra were very close friends. Is it okay to hook up with your friend's soon-to-be ex-wife who also is very close with a girl that you publicly humiliated on TV?
I
Go ahead.
mean, here's the thing is there's two worlds here. There's the Bravo world, and then there's, you know, my world. Ironically, I know someone who I met in my IRL, in real life, who is part of that Bravo world. And Bravo world people just, they have their own rules. They have their own moral code. That's why they're on Bravo.
Okay.
So, you know, like, look, we live in a world where over in Afghanistan, there are 12-year-olds who are forced to be married. That's what I hear. You know what I mean? Maybe I heard it on Tucker Carlson. I don't know. But the point is like, yeah, I mean, that's, I'm not surprised. You know what I mean? Would I do it? Does that sit well with me and people I know? No. But, you know, except for Bo, I'm not on the Bravo universe, and that's why they're there. That's why they're there. I mean, that's what they do. You know, a little bit of suds. Is Loverboy still around? Is that a beverage I can
Yeah,
get?
well, that was the other thing, you know, is the big storyline in this season is that Loverboy is really struggling as a company, and Kyle had to take out a loan, and he was under a lot of pressure. But here's the thing, he's always under a lot of pressure. Since the day we met him on the show, he's always kind of like stressed out and kind of making some excuse. I think, quite frankly, I don't think they were a good match. I think that the show accelerated things, and they kind of like made it work, and they just weren't right for each other. Let me ask you another question. If two people get together by having affairs, by cheating on other people,
Mm-hmm.
but they stay together, let's say, you know, and then they're married for like 30 years, they have kids, does that change whether or not it was the right thing to do? Does the outcome justify the means, the way they got together?
I mean, look, this is the thing is like, you could say after 30 years that it was the right thing for them to do. I mean, you can't really say like it was just right. Like, did you and Shara get married because it was right? Was it the greater good? Did mankind say it's what was best for each other? And, you know, it is weird because you do hear certain stories. Like, I have a friend and his mom and dad happily married, been married for many, 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 many decades. They're probably been married for like 40 years, you know, like that, right? They're old, whatever. And from what I recall, his mom was in a relationship, was married, I believe. And then I remember she said something effective, then I met Steven and, I was like, this is my guy and whatever. And, you could sit there in the moment and go, but you're married, but, that's just what happened. And life goes on. And she started a family, and they've been happily married ever since. So like, who is anyone to really judge like that moment in time? You know what I mean? Like, it's real life here. You know what I mean? It's sticky. It's not just cut and dry. Whereas Breely and I getting married was for the greater good of mankind, and we're right up there with the Artemis launch, right up there. I mean, yeah.
I'm glad you brought up the Artemis launch because let's talk about the moon for a second. Walked on the moon in 1969, right?
Well,
We haven't been back in what is that? 50, almost 60 years.
mm-hmm.
We don't want to just step back on, say hello, do a drive-by,
Totally.
Little weird, right? Why aren't we
Yeah.
going back to the moon? Where we're just like, oh, we'll just like see it, and everyone's talking about, ooh, it's the furthest we've ever been in space. Why are we not addressing the elephant in the galaxy? Why aren't we going back on the moon? Were we ever on the moon? I hate to be that kind of like conspiracy theorist, but like, come on. We've never wanted to set foot on it again. We were like, we did it. Done. Nah, I don't need to go step on it again. It was just like, it was whatever. Why aren't we going back to the moon?
It's really weird. Like, Brearley will bring this up where, and this is a little dated, but, back when we had a space program that was, really doing things, shooting people up into space and whatnot, she would say, why are we spending money on this? Like, shouldn't we be feeding people? Like, or whatever. And I was like, well, like, the pursuit of science and study does improve humanity and even can be a source of inspiration for those who come from little to aspire to these types of professions. So there's that. You know what? Here's the thing. What's worse? We got to look at, like, what's the worst rocket that's being fired right now? Is it a rocket that Iran's shooting, or is it Artemis 2? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, it's...
You didn't answer my question. Why aren't we walking on the moon again?
Look, think just getting Artemis up there is good enough. I think it's good enough. I think it's good enough. I bet it's very costly. It's very,
Okay.
as a guy who, went out of their way and sat through a 3-4 hour timeshare meeting for an all inclusive. You know what it means to just be like, oh, well, yeah, we could have paid full price, but come on. I think this was the government's way of doing the all inclusive and dealing with the timeshare.
I think it's a cop out. I think it's a little bit like it's like we're supposed to be like jumping for joy. They went really deep into space. I want to see somebody do, a moonwalk. I want to see some like corporate integrations. I want to see like Budweiser on the moon. I want to see someone come back down who's like our generation that's like, man, it was like this. None of this Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin crap like
Mm,
where I can't relate to them. Like
yeah.
like if we are really able to go to the moon and walk on it, I think we should do it again.
I think it's weird because I was never like anti NASA the way Burley was, but I think it would be a waste of money. I think it would be a waste of money.
Okay, I'll tell
I
you what.
think
What if we find a way to raise money? What if you're saying it's a waste of money? What if we use it to raise money for charity?
I mean, look, if people want to start a GoFundMe for the moon, I would just put a small little side thing out there to say, please send it over to World's Greatest Dad because we need fathers more than moonwalkers.
I
How
would
about that?
absolutely pay upwards of $15 to send someone to
15?
walk on
You
the
put in 15? It's
moon.
pretty
Absolutely.
good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty. Actually, you know what? I guess to be fair, that would be entertainment for you. That's probably better than a movie ticket. Speaking of movies, did you know AMC just closed 300 locations or something like that? Did you hear that? Yeah, yeah. So get used to watching Bluey at home because you're not gonna be able to go to the movies no more.
Well,
No more AMC's.
are you going to see the Galaxy? Are you going to see the Mario Galaxy movie?
We've so aged out of that quote. You know what's so funny? I was thinking about this one. Because you were like, Heath was here. Actually, he's home right now. This Easter break of his, he hasn't been in school since like March. But when Heath was playing video games and he was like whooping it up and hollering, you're like, what? What's he doing? What's he playing? I'm like, I'm not sure. Let me find out. And you're like, way to go. Good parenting. Just to give you a little check in on where we're at. Last night, Heath goes, hey, Dad, you want to watch Sinners? That's where we're at right now. You know what I mean? Like, we are literally there.
Did you guys watch Sinners? Did you guys watch Sinners?
Didn't, honestly. I was like, because, we don't have the full package like you do. Although he said it's on Peacock, but maybe we will watch it.
Find it.
Yeah. But yeah, no, we're watching Sinners over here. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't think
Well, the reason I bring it up about Mario is I don't know if you've seen it's gotten pretty terrible reviews.
Okay. Not surprised. Yeah. Are you surprised?
It also did it really well at the box office. I also am going to bring my kids to see it this week. And the best, I think, critique I saw was a dad on social media, and he was in his car and he did a little video review, and he's wearing a giant big red M hat, Mario hat. And I loved it because he basically said everyone is really up in arms that, the story was it just felt like, a little bit disconnected, and, it wasn't quite as good as the original. And he's like, it's Mario. He's like, stop trying to make, it's a kid's movie. Stop trying to make everything into Interstellar and all the meaning in this. He's like, Yoshi's there, Star Fox is there. It's a lot of fun. My kids loved it. My kid's 5, colorful. It's a great escape. It's not for you. You're 38 years old. Stop. I'm so disappointed in the Mario movie. Like, it was supposed to be. It's like, it's for 5-year-olds. Stop it. Stop it. My kids loved it. And I honestly think that I'm hoping that that's my experience is like, yeah, it was good. It was good. Like, I don't need it to be, Gone with the Wind, which, by the way, probably isn't even that great. I don't know. I've never seen it.
Yeah, I mean, come on. I think that the sun is set on us trying to appreciate Gone with the Wind. I'm pretty sure they had like some unsavory characters, aka slaves. But more importantly, I'm a little concerned about this guy's take because it seems like a smart take. But why the Mario hat? You know what I mean? This sounds it's either Peter Pan vibes or he's a freaking stooge. He's a stooge for the studio. They're obviously making money on it. Like, of course, that's such the great way to clap back. Because you know what? Sorry, but, to a degree, Pixar has changed the game of expectations of good storytelling. And, also, I'm a firm believer in the world of what we have of, like, Rotten Tomatoes. And especially, like, I'm starting to see or feel that it's creeping into the world of, like, food. Where it's like, and I kind of do this. I'm like, oh, this has, like, really good ratings on Google Maps. Like, freaking 14 years ago, I worked on a Food Network show, and I remember the producer who had lots of problems. But I remember she goes, well, this one has good ratings on Google Maps. And I was like, someone who's like written about food and stuff, I was just like, you disgust me. But the world has changed. I mean, there's so much data out there. And something you've always said too, quantifiable data, which strikes me as so relevant. Like, yeah, I mean, people are going to chime in there and call somebody out. And that's just part of it. That's part of it. And yeah, I think this guy, the Mario hat, I'll have to see the clip to really judge it for itself. Because I understand that to a degree. But I mean, look. Did you tolerate Teletubbies? Were you okay with that? That was terrible. I mean, how did that show make the air?
I never did Teletubbies. I was too old.
And yet somehow I watched it, and I'm older. How does that track?
Yeah, I'm confused.
I was pretty stoned at the time, and I was like, what is this? Yeah.
Mario clip.
Oh, you got it?
What else is going on? What are you guys doing for spring break? What's the story?
Spring break hath passed, my friend. We did it.
Why is he home? I don't understand. What's your son doing home?
Easter. It was Easter.
Easter break?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's back at school tomorrow, but yeah, there was Good Friday. And yeah, I mean, the other thing too is like, well, this will be the end of it, but like he does go to a Christian school. But like, that's crazy. So many days off. I think literally if I pull up the calendar, because it says no school. Heath no school yesterday. I don't think he had. Yeah. All right. So he had Friday, Monday, and Tuesday off. I'll say this:
Please.
Tuesday was excessive. Today's excessive.
It's too much.
He
No,
should be out.
they're doing it for the parents, the teachers, or for the teachers don't want to be there. I don't.
Yeah. I mean, we all work hard. Not gonna throw anyone under the bus. But you know what's funny? They charge for the day. How about that? How about them apples? You know what I mean?
All right, I got one for you. So I had a little bit of a dad fail the other day. We rescheduled Cece's piano lesson to Monday at 5:45. I said to the piano teacher, her name's Agnes. She's like the sweetest lady.
Sounds like a piano teacher. Agnes.
You go into her studio, and it's like being like in Edith Bunker's, like living room. She's got like peanuts, Charlie Brown and the Peanuts everywhere. Every holiday she's like decorating for. She has like themed lollipops, and she's just the sweetest lady, right? But so listen to this. So I said, hey, we actually can't, make her Cece's regular time. Can we reschedule? And she said, sure. How's Monday at 5:45? This is last week. And I just had like a terribly busy day and a total brain fart. And it's 6 o'clock and we're heading to the park. And Cece goes, oh, I can't do piano today, I guess. My God, I totally forgot. And I felt so bad. And I'm texting her, hey, like, so sorry, I screwed up. I forgot the time. It's totally my fault. Shira's telling me you should pay her anyway, right? Like, it's your mistake. And we're at the park. We're hanging out. I don't hear from her. And we see one of Cece's little friends. And we're like, oh, what's up? Where are you coming from? And she's like, oh, I'm coming from piano, from Agnes. Wait, that's weird. That would have been Cece's lesson, And she's like, oh, her friend's like, well, I always have a lesson that time. And we go over to her dad, and we're like, was she just at piano? And he's like, yeah, it's her usual time, 5:45.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh. So, and by the way, this has happened to us several times where she double books and we show up and another kid shows up and then we're like fighting over the or like, oh, you take it or oh, you take it. So I'm like, oh, she clearly like messed up, right? And so I'm
Right.
like, I'm not paying for this. We would have if I was on my game, we would have
Right.
showed up and not
Right.
been able to take the lesson, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So she
Okay.
texts me back.
Okay.
So she
This is
texts me
getting good.
back.
Yeah.
She texts me back and she says, no worries. It happens to the best of us. Let me know when is good to reschedule. And I'm like, no, 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 no. You're going to pretend like you didn't double book us and make me feel bad like it's my error?
But did she charge you or no?
No, but that's not the point, Ollie. The point is,
That is
she
the
made
point.
me
That's the only
feel
point.
like it was my mistake. And you know what? We both made a mistake, all right?
Oh my God. Yeah. Like, if you didn't pay, who cares? I thought she was gonna charge you. You know what I mean?
Could you imagine? Could you
Well,
imagine?
yeah, I was on pins and needles for this one. Because to be fair, like if you schedule for someone, right, and they straight up pull a no show, shoot, even 24-hour canceling within 24 hours is fair game for a lot of businesses to be like, yo, dude, I could have booked this time. You know what I mean?
Not this
But
place.
like, you're just
Listen
looking
to
to
this.
save face. You are nuts. As long as you
Listen,
didn't pay the money, that's what
this
counts.
piano teacher charges. Do you want to guess what she charges per
I
lesson?
mean, it's an hour, right?
Half hour.
I'm gonna say 75.
Ooh.
Is that
Ollie,
high?
come on. The year of our Lord 2026, Agnes, who's been doing this a long time, charges $30 a lesson. Okay?
Shit.
And so it's the price is right, baby. When I was looking where'd you go? Where'd you go? You're back? Okay. That was weird.
Oh,
You're quiet now. Hello? Hello? Ollie? Why are you ruining the end of the episode?
I don't know.
Oh, you're
So
back.
weird.
Okay. So listen, I was looking for piano lessons for Cece, and I found this woman who's like a composer and in her 20s and like really interesting, and she's got this whole philosophy and really
This is Agnes? She's in her
no,
20s?
no. That's the person that I was trying to get lessons with a year ago, and it's
Mhm.
like so it's $85 for a half hour, and I was like, I'm out. And it is so hard to get CC to practice that, like, for $30, you're like, it's $30, It's like a tax. How, it's all cash. I hopefully she won't get visited by the IRS after this episode drops. But
He didn't say her last name.
yeah, I mean it's $30. I mean, like, you can't beat it. You can't
Yeah.
beat it.
Yeah.
Is it the best instruction in the world? For the price. Yeah.
I mean, Cece's 8, right? Or is she 9?
She's 8. 8.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Hey, before we go, Sheer did a big shopping trip at Trader Joe's, and I wanted you to just rate some of these items.
Now we're in my world of expertise.
Is this worth it at Trader Joe's, or is it better to just go to a regular supermarket? So we've got
Okay, yeah,
the
let's go.
brioche that you make French toast with. You ever had this from the Trader Joe's?
You know what? We have bought in that before.
Okay. Is it worth it, or go regular supermarket?
How much was it?
I don't know. I don't have the receipt.
Well, that
But
would
we have to
be.
do the price thing. I'm just going to make it up. It was $6.
You know what? Knowing what I know from Trader Joe's, I think it is worth it. I don't think you're going to get a better version from a supermarket. I would be curious to do a battle between Trader Joe's and Whole Foods to see if one was better than the other. I think look, here's the thing. Let's just be blunt here. It's shelf stable brioche. Don't get it twisted. You're not at the restaurant where they make their own bread or they're buying it from a bakery. So in this instance, all things considered, I would roll the dice and put my faith in Trader Joe's over a average supermarket. I think you could have a real battle to see between Whole Foods and Trader Joe's which one's better, because I assume Whole Foods would be more expensive, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's better. So I think it's a safe bet. I'm going to say worth it.
Okay. Have you had these pink and white cookies? Do they even make these anywhere else?
In white cookies, with yogurt coating. Very
Worth it?
spring. It looks very spring. I mean, look, I'll say this, and
Look like
without
this.
having the price, I will say this. Trader Joe's excels at CPG. And I feel like it's like Icarus. If you fly too close to the sun, you get burnt. But my guess is, yeah, like you're probably okay with those cookies. Also, what's our alternative? Those cookies aren't my cup of tea. I'm a chocolate chip guy, but I bet I'm gonna roll the dice and say it's worth it right there. You need to really push the envelope here at Trader Joe's for me to
Yeah.
really.
Well, I'm so glad you mentioned your favorite cookie, because perhaps you're familiar with these
Okay.
crispy, crunchy chocolate chip cookies from Trader Joe's. Have you had these? Are these worth it?
Here's where I'm gonna say why it's not worth it, right? I love chocolate chip cookies. That is a cookie I eat, right? And frankly, I remember when I first went to a Mrs. Fields in the 90s, and I remember back then the cookie was $3 for a single cookie, and you're like, that's insane. And then you bite into a hot, freshly baked cookie, and there is no substitute. So in my opinion, especially seeing the volume of that, reminds me of those Costco cookies. I don't think they're worth it because I'd rather have one expensive cookie treat that justifies the calories than having that much. Now, I will say this, if you guys make milkshakes, that is a premium thing to put in the milkshake because you don't need a fancy cookie. In fact, you could use it. So I'm going to say not worth it, but that's because I'm a cookie snob.
So something that's interesting about Trader Joe's, they're I feel like so much of Trader Joe's, it's like they make these like cute little names. It's like Trader Giotto's or
Yeah. Yeah,
some of
yeah.
them,
Trader
like,
Jose. Yes,
yeah, they
yes.
get a little in trouble. They can be a little offensive, but like these are just cucumbers. But like I think that the appeal is literally that they're called teeny tiny cukes. If you could say teeny tiny
Oh my
cukes.
God.
They're
Yeah.
just cucumbers. It's just literally, you could get these anywhere. But like teeny tiny cukes.
Yes.
So like, what do you think? What are your thoughts on the produce
This
at
is
Trader
what's
Joe's?
so interesting. I think for two reasons, those are worth it. One is we buy cucumbers a lot. They go bad quickly. And I think the big ones go bad faster than the small ones. So there's that. The other thing is, this is very strange, but I do eat a fair amount of salads. I don't know why, and this is not the cukes, but Trader Joe's arugula lasts longer than the arugula I get from my regular supermarket. So I'm like, maybe they use some sort of gas or something. And I don't think Trader Joe's is really the market for, getting, quote, the best produce, meats, fish, all the perimeter stuff at a grocery store. I think it's more about the middle is where Trader Joe's excels. But I give a pass to those cukes. And I think, yeah, produce like the arugula I'm a big fan of actually. So I'm gonna say worth it. I'm gonna say worth it.
All right, well, and let's close it out
All right.
with these Trader Joe's peanut butter filled pretzel nuggets. Are these worth it, Ollie?
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna say they are because peanut butter filled pretzels are delicious. Again, this is what Trader Joe's excels at. And you know for a fact that their prices are gonna be pretty good. The funny thing with that is Heath is allergic to peanuts and tree nuts, so I've never had those. But I'm gonna say this, and you're a family of four. Like, the alternative is if you buy that at Whole Foods, it'll be too expensive. If you buy at Costco, it'll be too much. So I think, again, when it comes to CPG at Trader Joe's, again, without the price, next time we'll have to float the price, but then we're comparing New York City and stuff like that. But I think generally, you shopped very smartly for Trader Joe's. I've had some real dingers. Well, not real. I had one that was we made it, and like halfway through, Billy's like, you should just throw this away," which took a lot out of me. I was like, "No, I'm third world. We don't throw away food." But I was like, "We let that go." So they do have some flaws, but yeah, I think you did very well there. You guys know what you're doing. You know what you're doing.
We try.
Yeah.
Hey, Ollie, good seeing you, and you're doing great. You're a great dad.
You know what, Neil? You're a great dad because at least you remembered the piano lesson. You remembered the piano lesson. Although I can't believe how petty you are about needing her to acknowledge that she double booked too. I thought it was because you had to pay out. And also, $30 is a freaking deal. Period.
I'm glad we ran into them because it kind of absolved me of any guilt of skipping the lesson. So I did feel like that was good. But yeah, it's important. Remember piano lessons, right? It's
What does she play on piano?
Right now, she's playing the Sugar Plum Fairy. She's got a recital in June. Maybe I'll see if I can get some audio and share it.
Yeah,
with,
classical.
the
He's
world.
in School of Rock. He actually plays piano. Yeah, I things I cannot do. Piano, and he does trombone. Yeah. We did School of Rock. We did the whole School of Rock thing.
We've referenced a lot of brand names. We're gonna have to start getting some of that brand money.
Yeah, no kidding. And I mean, yeah.
I'll talk to you later.
It's been a riveting one.